President Bola Ahmed Tinubu presently is in the National Assembly to present the 2024 budget. As we know that the Assembly is a joint session which we will be having the House of Representatives also with the Senate, and there is a tight security presently at the National Assembly, as journalists are not even permitted to get into the premises if you do not have the tag having the 2024 budget presentation. So our fingers are crossed concerning that presentation, because he is meant to make that presentation before heading to Dubai for the summit that is happening live there. So he will be leaving today, but just after presenting the budget. So we'll be following up that presentation of that budget closely, and then we'll bring you up to date with all that is happening there. The program is Nigeria Now, where we will be looking at some of the issues as they reoccur. And then there are quite a number of things that we would love to talk about. You know the way we do it here in Nigeria Now. We look at economy, we look at security, and many other things as they concern us here in Nigeria. So you can follow us closely on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Drop your comment and your views on any of this issue we will be talking about, and hopefully maybe you can even give recommendations on how the country can be better. I am Stella Elisha Dasham. I'll be doing the program with Rachel Tanze. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, 7.
All right, quite a number of things to look at, even though we are still following up the project and presentation. You and I said a little about that yesterday, but then our fingers are crossed. There's no much we can actually tell the viewers right now until finally we see what the budget will look like, if the House of Assembly is going to reduce or add, and one or two things that are needed to actually clarify in the budget. So our fingers are crossed, and then we'll let the viewers know about that. But then let us go straight into what we hope to talk about this afternoon. We're seeing presently, we heard of the protests in Kano concerning the verdict that the appeal court gave. And right now our focus is shifting to Nasarawa State presently. As we have seen, there seems to be unrest there. As of on Monday, a lot of supporters of the PDP, especially women, were being seen, protesting, not being happy. And these protests have been going on even before the appeal court gave their verdict, we remember. But when during the tribunal, they actually gave the tribunal said that the winner for the election was the PDP candidate, which is in person of David Umabadu. And then again, we're seeing that presently the appeal court have said, no, it is not David anymore. We have holding it to what INEC said, that it is Sudi. Yeah. Now, quite a number of expectations coming from the PDP supporters, because it seems the appeal court have been shaking this election a lot. We've seen that they have on seat Mutwad here in Plateau State. We've seen that in Kano State. We've seen it in Zamfara. And then presently, even though all of the state, they have appealed to the Supreme Court. But right now we're seeing that women are coming out, and then there was a little bit harassment or maltreatment or handling, you can call it, of some of these women. And we see a lot of people are coming out and say it shouldn't be so. I mean, these are women, or these are protesters that came out peacefully without anything. So why should we have the military actually handling them the way they did? Because the way things are moving, if it is not being controlled properly, we are hoping, or we are not really hoping for that, we'll be seeing the Aba women riot again, according to somebody. But then I think this is not a desire, because if we should cast our mind back, we know what the Aba women riot really looked like. It was such an ugly incident. But then we are looking forward to what are we seeing, or how can the military actually handle issues like this? Because not only are we having it, because we've had instances where the military malhandle people, and then where you ask questions such as, we are supposed to be having the police to take charge of this, so why are we having the military coming up to do that to people who actually just came out harmfully just to have a peaceful protest? And they say they will continue this protest until their own verdict or their own mandate is being given to them eventually.
Yes, so like for the case of Nasarawa, it started like since after the election, women protested naked. That is, they were in support of the verdict, first going to Sule APC, and then later on the tribunal court gave it to Ambugado, and then they were happy. We saw the same reaction back after that, and then now they are unhappy concerning it going back to Sule, and then the protests keep going on and on. And for me, I believe that this is the women showing that, you know what, this is who we gave our support to, this is who we stand for, and then we have the court taking the people's mandate away from them for women precisely. However, one sad fact about this is that when it comes to election tribunal, the verdicts and the outcome, there's little or nothing protest can do. It sends a message quite okay. It sends the fact that, you know what, people are not happy about it. But the thing is, why I said it does little or nothing is the fact that if when this went to the PDP, there was protest from the APC also in the same state. We can say the same for Plateau State and every other state that has just been these two major parties going headlock and all of that. So it does little or nothing. This is not a case where we are protesting for something to be made a constitution or for a regulation or for a policy. I mean, the NSAS hashtag NSAS protest did something because we started having people more outspoken about police brutality, and it drastically went down. Not like we haven't heard, but it has reduced. Now this is where protests come into play, where we see NLC coming out and protest, and then the government listening to them say, okay, don't protest, we will do this and do that. I believe that protest has its role where it is more effective. But when it comes to the case of election, it's kind of a dead end. Does it show that the people are saying their mandate taken away? Yes. However, what is more effective is the background work that this party are doing to take back their mandate. Because as it is now, we see where the Chief Justice of Nigeria keeps saying, you know what, don't use your emotions. So now this means that when it comes to protests, in the case of NLC, emotions can be played in and things will become better. Because the Nigerian government can say the people have spoken, we're going to do this and do that. But when it comes to tribunal cases, judges cannot use emotion, cannot say the women of Nasarawa State want this, or the people of Nasarawa are holding placard and saying, like, no, is what the team of prosecutors and those, or whichever team, exactly, Sele, is the evidence that is being brought to the court that judges will use to function with, not the protest on the street and all of that. Yes, we won't say don't protest, but it's kind of a sensitive situation where protest wouldn't really affect the verdict of whatever the result is in the court. This is just one of those sensitive situations that, I mean, it could have been either way. If it was the PDP in power and then the APC failed, we could have seen people on the streets protesting. But I believe that at this point, we just tell Nigerians, you know what? The judiciary might not seem as fair as you want them to be. INEC might not have delivered your mandate as you has expected them to do. We have a system that has failed us. Let's change the protest, right? Rather than now saying we are not happy with whether APC is or the winner or not. Let our protest be that INEC should do right by Nigerians when the next is coming. Yeah.
Because we can actually say the reason why we are having protests in various states is because this independent body that was meant to actually do something did not do their job properly. Because if only we see INEC, or we had seen INEC doing the right thing, we wouldn't see women resulting to even going for protest naked, and to the point that we're having stakeholders actually calling on the attention of the president to do something, or else this can escalate to something bigger than the way it is presently. Because some of the evidence, according to the women leader of the PDP, what she is saying is the fact that, for example, in a local government area where we are supposed to be having just 15,000 accredited voters, and then out of that same local government area, we are seeing that the PDP is having over 55,000 votes. Where did the remaining votes come from? Because you need to go back to each of these polling units and check how many accredited voters did we have, how many votes went to this particular party and to this party. I think that will only be credible and justice to whoever won this election. So I think it is important that we begin to see that what INEC should do their job. And I can't help but go back to the citizen town hall meeting that held yesterday, where we even saw the former INEC chairman Jega actually in present, where we saw Yaga Africa and many other civil organizations coming up to say, you know what, there needs to be an unbundling in the INEC work. You know what, there needs to be an electoral reform, because a lot of things did not go as it should be. Remember, during the presidential election, a lot of people came out to actually, you know, show their displeasure with what INEC did, where we're seeing that votes coming from this particular state is almost the same coming from the other state, and it's not supposed to be that. That is to say that even the rec that were being sent, they did not do their job properly. So we're looking forward to where INEC will do their job. And right now we cannot take back the hands of time, but we are hoping that INEC will take this as a lesson that, you know what, the reason why we're having things going the way they are present is because we have failed. And I'm looking forward to see when INEC will come out to apologize to Nigerians, because one thing that we are not seeing, Rachel, here is the fact that nobody's blaming the court have not called INEC and tell them no court have done that. The appeal court have not done that. Even the Supreme Court during the presidential election did not call.
Even the senators that had many sittings asking INEC if they are ready and they will deliver, the same people who sat down and approved the budget for the 2023 election and asked INEC if they're certain that these things will function and all of that, are not calling them to book to ask them why haven't it functioned. It's almost like INEC is getting away with the misery that they have put Nigerians in.
Coming out to tell us, you know what, Nigerians, I am sorry, even though I can't actually say I did it, but you are the head of that body. You are the head of that commission. You owe Nigerians, you know what, an explanation to why you didn't do what you are supposed to do, and how comes we're beginning to have higher votes in certain local government area where people do not exist. And that's why people have even called for the cleaning of the INEC register. Maybe some people that died were beginning to see votes being, you know, cast on their behalf or something like that. So we're looking forward to seeing, you know what, INEC need to do the right thing. Right now, these women are just hoping that the Supreme Court will give them justice. They're hoping that the Supreme Court will do it right by them. Just like you said, I mean, the Chief Justice of Nigeria have promised us that, you know what, judges are not going to use their emotions, but they are going to be working with facts and evidence presented to them. So we hope that, just like you said, this party are actually doing their background work, bringing out evidence, and we hope to see that the Supreme Court will do justice as well. Now, looking at the justice and also looking at things that are being fair, we're saying that it seems the former CBN governor is going to be spending the Christmas and the New Year in Kuje prison. Because as it is present, it looks like he's unable to pay his 300 million naira bill. We will recall that the court actually gave him a bail initially of 20 million naira, where we saw that immediately after the court actually granted him the bill, the DSS were waiting for him outside. And there was a back and forth between the Nigeria Correctional Service and the DSS. Eventually, he was taken back into custody. And then again, we saw he has been given another bill, and then the EFCC were waiting for him again. So Nigerians right now are kind of confused. Are we trying to say that our security operatives are more powerful to our judiciaries? Because if the judiciary have actually given you bill, why are we having security operatives asking or actually demanding for your
going against
the court ruling? And it seems as if this is actually a breach, because you are actually not doing what the court wants. And we've seen that not just in the case of Emefiele. We've had instances where the court will actually give a ruling and say, so person have been granted bail, and then we see that you are still retained back again by the security operative. And this has made it to the paper, to the questions, or to the paper in the morning, or to what Nigerians are discussing, the fact that maybe a lot of people have even tweeted and said maybe Emefiele does not have the money for the bill. A lot of people are saying one thing or the other, the reason why he's unable to do that. But the fact right here is the fact that his lawyer stated the fact that things are not going as it should be. Not that he doesn't have the money for the bill, but because of the back and forth between the judiciary that's talking about the court and also the security operative. And that is why we're seeing that likely is the fact that he's going to be in the prison until he's able to, you know, give up bail. This the BB bail that was given to him.
I mean, Sele, if you were to put yourself in a Mefele's shoe where you are being charged for 1.2 trillion naira fraud, and then you're being asked to bring 300 million naira bill, you would be sensitive not to bring that bill, I believe. But then, does it have to come out from his pocket? Not
No.
necessarily.
Mm.
I believe the CBN governor have friends that can bill him. I mean, you've been a CBN governor, you have friends in high places, you're well connected. You should have one or two close relatives that can come and bail you out of this situation, because I truly don't expect him to bail himself, because it will just raise questions, because 300 million is a lot of money. And whether you like it or not, you are a civil servant in Nigeria. We know what the pay grade is, regardless of whether you're a CBN governor or not. There are certain amounts of money that you shouldn't just have it at your disposal. For some reason, it's just going to raise eyebrows like more, because 300 million is a big money. However, perhaps we can only speculate, because we still don't know why MFLA haven't given this bill yet. We can only speculate, and either way, we are not wrong or right, Sele, when we speculate in certain way that perhaps he want to follow due process, because if we saw that coming out the news concerning what is going on in the trial as it is now, and the reason why he's still in jail is because he haven't made bail. But we are seeing unfolding that this 1.2 trillion naira concerning a contract being given doesn't even belong to him. That's some of the recent coming out in the trial from witnesses, almost like, okay, they said this money went to him. Now the finding is that this company doesn't even belong to him in the first place. And perhaps if you're on the other side where you want to be cleared, you might want to stay to follow the due process, because in the end, perhaps the truth will come out in your favor, and in the end you will truly be completely a free person. So on another side, it could be that Emefiele wants to go through the process for his name to be cleared as it should be, and in the end he can walk a free man concerning the allegations on fraud concerning him and all of that. However, I believe that we'll just have to wait. This is very sensitive in a lot of ways, because how things have been unfolding is also very confusing, where we see correctional officers having problem with the EFCC, I mean with DSS, and then now we are seeing him going into the hands of EFCC and all of that. It keeps showing the gaps in our system, because when the judiciary say certain things, it should go, and then he is not supposed to be in the custody of either the DSL or the EFCC. The correctional officers are the ones working directly in hand with the judiciary system. Therefore, now he becomes under their own custody and all of that. But then we are seeing things playing out differently. We saw recently where there's a clash between soldiers and military and police, where a police officer lost his life, and we keep seeing that in our system. And then it shows how everybody almost like above the law, even people that are not supposed to be above the law seems to be above the law. But with all that being said, I'm just hoping that the more we talk, Sele, the more we voice out the situation in the country, the more we have people who are willing to work, because everything we say needs work. And unless the people in this position are willing to do the work, we are not going to see anything significant happening. Unless the people who are supposed to make sure that there's no clash between the DSS and the police or correctional officers or AFCC or whoever of these law enforcement agencies are, until we see people doing the work, we will not stop seeing things like this happening in the country. And the same way concerning Emefiele, I believe that until we put things in place concerning this whole custody, who is supposed to keep this person or who is not supposed to keep this person, if the court says this, you adhere, regardless of whether you feel like you are in a higher position to interrogate him or not. And over the years, we've not seen much out of this. You know, it's just numbers changing. Nothing really new, nothing really different. So we will just wait to see, you know, because no other and the most intriguing part for me, and the part that I am not even comfortable with concerning the whole Emefiele case, is that there have been an investigation going on in the CBN, and it has not been released yet. The result of that investigation have not been, is still yet, and the person that have been in charge of this investigation have said that he has come to a conclusion. Now he is waiting for a go ahead from the president to review what, meaning by now we should have other people in this suit together with Emefiele, but for some reason the CBN governor is still the only one taking the fall for all the mishappenings in the Central Bank of Nigeria, whereas there are people that should be on this with him and answering one or two questions. So all this unfolding around what is going on with the central bank governor, former central bank governor, is raising a lot of concerns, and I just hope that we will start seeing some balance in our system, because there's a lot of gap that just says so much. I mean, the puzzles are not yet together, but very soon the full picture will be out there, but still the gap is just too wide, and I just hope that the people in charge of closing this gap are doing the job. Yes.
You know, presently, even the House of Rep are actually looking into the same case of Emefiele, because just like you said, there seems to be a gap somewhere, and then the puzzle seems not to be clear to a lot of Nigerians, because, I mean, just in between 1 year, we're beginning to see things are just turning from one point to another, even though this whole case has been shifted to January next year. So just like it is, he has to be in the custody of the Correctional Service for the meantime, until all of these, you know, issues are being unraveled. And we just hope, just like I said, let's see where everybody knows where his own power starts and where your power ends eventually. I think that is the only way we can move forward in this country, whereby, because a lot of people are looking at it, this is not just about the CBN governor, but let's just take for instance, it's a common man that was going through all of this, you know, investigation and all of that, and just when your family is excited and is happy that finally you will be home with them, and then just right outside another security operative is waiting to take you into their custody. So it looks more like Nigerian security operative are confused, and who do you take directive from? Because I remember that of the DSS, and then even though the boss never said anything until initially he came out to say this is it, he's sorry for the way his boys behave and all of that. I mean, we have to go above I'm sorry and doing the right thing where we should be. So, you know, concerning this Emefiele case, we are just hoping that even though it's still in the House of Reps, so we hope that before they go on recess, because from the way things are moving presently, I do not see the likelihood of him getting out of prison. Hopefully maybe till next year, because the case is still there from January. So we are hoping that they'll be able to attain to that case where we resume in January, and then all of these things will be rectified, so that the common man will know his fate next time, using Emefiele as a case study. Henceforth, Rachel. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for doing this program with me.
You're welcome, sir.
And also thank you to our viewers at home for keeping a date with us. Thank you to our supporters for always supporting us here on this program. Until we come here again, do have a blessed day ahead.